Today we are going to make goat cheese mozzarella.
Yes, we are. We're making it with 2-gallon recipe. So we got 2 gallons of goat milk.
Yep.
You want to go ahead and pour some in there? Need some help? Oh, you got the muscles. Now let me know if you need help because that's going to be very heavy. How about I help you with that? Let me help you pour it in. I'll be right back. There's 1 gallon. You want to put the other one in too?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for flinging that around the house. Now if you need, let me help you a little bit just to make sure we don't get it everywhere. Okay, ready? You lift it by the handle and I'll kind of help you with this end. Ready?
No, I can do.
You sure? All right. Oh, it's got cream in it already. Oh, whoa, okay, whoa. All right. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to shake it a little bit. It's got some cream in the top. I want to make sure we get that out. A lot of nice cream in there. Oh, and I'm making more of a mess than you are, huh? I am making a big mess. All right. I actually have 2.5 gallons in there, but I edited the recipe to get the 2.5 in. But the recipe is for 2 gallons. So let's say you have 2 gallons of goat milk or even regular milk, just not ultra pasteurized. This works also with just store-bought cow's milk. Now to that, we are going to add citric acid, which is also known as, if you ever get your hands on this, it's sour salt, same stuff. So what I do, I just refill this. So from it would be 3 teaspoons of citric acid, and you will put that into 2 cups of cold water. Make sure it's not chlorinated, and if you have chlorinated water, just let it sit, and the chlorine actually evaporates. I leave it sit for a day if you need to. That way you're pretty sure. But we have well water, so there's no chlorine in this water. So we're going to go ahead and mix up the citric acid with the water. I'm going to have to pause for this one. What are you doing? What are we doing there? We're going to mix in the sour salt.
Yep.
Which is the citric acid with the water.
Yeah.
So 3 teaspoons of citric acid into 2 cups of cool or cold water, non-chlorinated. Now that that's all mixed up, let's go ahead and pour that into here, and let's see if you can hit all these holes with it. So we're going to pour it through a slotted spoon. That's just so we can okay, that's a little fast, but we might have lost half of it. So then what I'll do, we'll just kind of agitate it a little bit.
Yeah, and stir it up.
Yeah, we're just going to go up and down slowly. We don't really need to stir it that much. It just needs to be agitated a little. Bring up the milk from the bottom to the top and vice versa. So just go up and down with a slotted spoon, and that's fine. Now what we're going to have to do is set that up on a heat source. And we're going to heat that to 90 degrees, up to 95 degrees, no more than 95 degrees. Then we will turn it off and take it off the heat. So until then, let's go ahead and put that on the stove until it reaches 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So the next part, we put it on the heat source, put it on the oven, and like I say, we've put the citric acid in. You can see it's already getting thick. It's already developing some curds up here. So we are going to heat that until it reaches 90, maximum of 95 degrees, and I'll turn the heat source off. Let's see if I can get this turned on here. I can't get it turned on. I have to do that. There's a button in the back. So there. Oh, it's up there. All right, never mind. I got the wrong button. There it is. All right, so right now we're at 41. Of course, you're going to have to mix it around every now and then. Stir it up a little bit. Make sure we're not burning it. So we'll let that sit, not on too high of a heat. I don't want it boiling or getting up to temperature too fast. And we'll go on to the next part. So by the time we fan back to this pot, we should be up to temperature by then. But until then, you go ahead, you have your 2 gallons of goat milk or regular store-bought cow's milk. You put in your 3 teaspoons of citric acid into 2 cups of cold water. Throw it in here through a slotted spoon or a sieve, just to distribute it better. Give it a little movement so it develops curds. Let it sit till it hits about 90. Just keep an eye on that one. So we also use, once that reaches the temperature, we'll go to our next ingredient that we use. This is a 1/2 cup of water, again non-chlorinated cool water. And we have here some rennet liquid. We use liquid rennet. That's a 1/2 teaspoon of liquid rennet, which you can buy in these little bottles. Keep it in the fridge. Or you can also use what's called, what is that?
Rennet.
That's also rennet. But those are tablets. You want to open them up and show people what they look like?
Yep.
Now, I need to go research that. I'm not sure, but I thought 1/4 teaspoon or 1/4 tablet equals a 1/2 teaspoon of liquid rennet, but that would have to be dissolved in water first, of course, before you would put it in the milk. Now, I bought these a long time ago and made just regular cow's milk mozzarella with it. And I like this. It's a lot easier to use. You know, a few drops here and there, you're done. Those aren't bad either. I mean, I came by them pretty cheaply, so I have a little stack of them. There you go. That's what they look like. They're tablets. They're pretty big. So 1/4 of that tablet equals, I believe, a 1/2 teaspoon. Again, don't quote me on that yet. It's been a while since I've used those. And that you would dissolve in the 1/2 cup of cold water, which right now I'm going to go ahead and let my little helping hands pour this liquid rennet into the 1/2 cup of water. Can you go ahead and pour this into there? Be careful this time not to spill it, because every little bit counts. Let all drops in there. There you go. And then we'll just shuffle it around, or you can, there you go, we'll mix it. And then once that milk comes up to temperature, we will do the same thing. We'll go ahead and pour that through the slotted spoon and mix it around. Until then, we'll take a break. Okay, so 5 minutes later, this is where the helping hands kind of stop, because now it's the harder time. So you'll see the curds. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of slice them into smaller, manageable bits. Nothing precise, nothing, just more manageable little squares, kind of crisscross. You'll have the curds on top, the whey on the bottom. And then we'll get the curds out. And I'll put them in a separate bowl. Now you can do these small bits at a time. I'll do as much as I can. It worked for me before. I'll do it again. Actually, I don't really want it in the bowl. I wanted it in the colander. Oh, I think I left the colander. Alright, so back to this colander. I've got a bowl upside down in a bigger bowl. It kind of keeps it off the bottom, and will let you drain a lot better. Again, there's a whole bunch of curds in here, as you can see. All that lovely cheese. I'll fill this up as much as I can. Oops. And you can mix this up to make the curds smaller. I'd rather leave them larger, because that way I can get more of them out. If they're too small, they slip through the cracks. Now, when you're done taking all of these curds out, don't throw the whey away, because the whey, we will boil it. It can be up to like 200 degrees, but just boil it and put it through a cheesecloth and hang it up for a day, and you will have some really nice spreadable ricotta cheese, or you can use that for anything else. Okay, so got a couple of batches going here. There's enough in there to drain. You can hear it drain. And then I put the rest of it in a smaller colander. So what I'm going to do is get as much as that of that whey out as possible, kind of twisting it, turning it, squishing it. Okay, here's a little cheater way to do this too. If it gets too hot or too cold, take your little lump of cheese, which I just did, and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It gets really soft. It's also really hot. I salted it just before I put it in there, and then I pulled it and folded it at least 9 times, and that way it's really incorporated. Right now it's very hot. Too hot to touch for me, but you can see how elastic it is. It's like yeah, it's very. Now I want to get it to cool down enough to where I can shape it. Or you can just put it into a round ball, You don't want to brine it if you've salted it, because it will be too salty. I'm not going to brine mine. I'm just going to put it in a like Tupperware container. It doesn't have to be Tupperware, just something like airtight container. Or you can put it in a Ziploc bag as well. Store it in the fridge. It doesn't last too long. You can make little sticks out of them for your kids so they can eat them. You could put dill or something in there, garlic. Make your own flavored mozzarella balls, sticks, whatever. So this is really shiny and really soft now. And I will form this into a ball and I will put it aside and I'll start the next one. Alright, let's see if I can do this hands-free. We're going to get some lumps. Big chunk of mozzarella. This is now cold. Stick it in the microwave. 30 seconds. And we're going to mix in some dill, garlic salt, and powdered garlic. All right. So, this is warm but not hot. And any of the curds that other way that came out, pour it off. It's still cool. Still cold. Going in for another 30 seconds. Maybe not full 30, maybe like 20. You don't want it too hot. You're going to really fry that cheese. You don't want to fry that cheese. Give it like, maybe 15. Let's see. Still a little warm. Pour it away. As you can see, it's getting more stretchy. Alright, I pour off more away. Let's put that back in there for the rest of the time. Like it's got some heat to it. Alright, now you'll know when it's ready. It feels really like melted cheese. It's very stretchy, runny. At this point, I will put in the dill. Do as much as you want. You like a lot of dill, put a lot in it. You like a little, put a little. Some garlic salt. I don't know, maybe not even a half a teaspoon, but to taste like you would put it on maybe a good steak. Some garlic powder. Now you're still going to get whey out of this, but that whey will just add to a really good taste for the ricotta. Now because this is, you see all that mixed stuff in there, you really want to twist it and stretch it for a lot of times until you see it's all mixed in. So you stretch it. And if it starts to cool down to where it's starting to tear again, you put it back in the microwave for a few seconds. You want it nice and hot to where it's like melted cheese. And it will go nice glossy and stretchy on you. This is actually colder than what I'm used to. So I might just go ahead and put that back in for a couple of seconds. Say 10, maybe 15 at the most. Again, we don't want to cook the cheese and have it bubble up and go crispy on us. try that. And yes, there it is. That's where it's kind of as hot as you can handle it. It's very hot. You can see how stretchy it is. It falls by its own weight. And as you fold it, stretch it, all that spices and all the flavorings will just mix right in. You'll still get some whey out of it, but now it's not tearing anymore. It's purely stretching. It's like a nice bread dough. And it is hot, but you know, don't make it so hot that you're going to burn yourself. Just enough to where you can let go when it gets too hot, and so you just knead it into a ball or something. And there's really no more liquid coming out of this, so I know it's done. Every now and then you get a little squirt, but that doesn't matter. So now this is all incorporated, all the spices are in there. And I will just go ahead and put that in a bowl or in a container. And again, you can just leave it salted, unsalted, pepper, whatever you like to put in there. All your flavorings, you could have Italian seasoning, oregano, thyme, rosemary. Goes into a container. Let it cool down before we put it in the fridge. Now I've got 3 of these already, and I've got plenty more to go. Let's see. I've got a whole lot more to go in there. Probably another 3 or 4 of these, and then I'll make the ricotta. Yeah, so there's a lot.
10, 9,
there's a container here, garlic,
6, 5, 4,
just regular.
2,
and then I use these shaped cups. That way they have a nice shape when they come out, and I'll put them in a plastic bag, put them in the fridge. Make nice little gifts as well. And the rest is the ricotta, which we're going to make out of the rest of the whey. So I just poured all the whey back in here, spices and everything. I'm going to end up spicing it up anyway a little bit. We're just going to boil it until it boils, and let it boil, and then turn down the heat, or just turn the heat off, leave it in there. I will put it back in a colander, but this time I will line it with a cheesecloth. I actually use a baker's cloth because it has a finer mesh and I don't lose too much out of it. Then I will hang it up right here overnight so it can drip right back in the pan. And after 24 hours, you can either still add spices or flavors, or just go ahead and put it in the tub, and you can spread it on sandwiches or use it for other cooking things, but it's one of the best ones. And whatever's left out of that, you could make a tricotta. I'm not sure, is it tricotta the 3rd time you boil it, but it's not worth it. You aren't going to get much out of it. But the way that gets left from here will go to the chickens.